Hello, I'm James Preston and welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks, exclusive to 𝐾𝐤𝐿 TV. In this episode, we'll be shining a light on Encore Accounting, a firm that offers far more than accounting services. It helps people run their business better, using its vast industry experience with proven strategies to maximise client results. Allan Mason is the Managing Director at Encore Accounting. He has over 30 years of experience as a chartered accountant, nearly 15 years in financial services and non-accounting based businesses, and today he joins us to talk in depth about Encore Accounting. Allan, thanks for joining us today.
Hi James, thanks for having us.
Well, Allan, great to have you here. And as I've mentioned, Encore Accounting goes above and beyond standard accountancy work. Can you break down exactly what it is that Encore does for other businesses that other accountancy firms simply don't?
Well, it's a hard one because there are a lot of accounting firms out there. Some do the right thing and look after their clients, and some, like we all know in any business and any industry, there are people that just don't care about their clients, and that's tragic. And I've written a number of books where we're really out there trying to focus and trying to help. I mean, people find tax boring and they go, oh, we don't want to be involved with all the accounting stuff. Well, I'll leave that to others. But let me tell you, you lose half your income, 30% to 50% of your income. It's a major incentive to do something about it and to think about it, be proactive. And sitting on doing this 9 months after the year end, well, you're wasting your time. You need to be proactive. You need to be ahead of the game. You might need to use different structures. I mean, many times we'll come up with need to have a property trust, or we might need to have asset protection, or we might need to shuffle money from one entity to another to save tax. There might be losses in one part. So you just need to be above and ahead of the game and looking at it. And your accountant's part of your team. You need to be able to get on the phone, ring them and say, what do I do here? I'm looking to do this, or my year has been crap, or my year has been good. What are the issues that are going to follow from that? And just be part of your team. And I wrote a book. How would I choose an accountant? What would I look for if I was to find or look for an accountant? So I wrote a book on it. That might sound funny because it says how to choose Encore Accounting. I subliminal. So it goes through the message at night, like subliminal, choose Encore Accounting, choose accounting. But no, I'm only joking. But I mean, one of the most important members of your team is your accountant. Every business in Australia has an accountant. Are they looking after that business? Well, I have to tell you, in maybe a third of the cases, they are not.
Well, Allan, talking about that book that you've mentioned there itself, I mean, you've mentioned that it breaks down exactly the steps that you should take to actually look at getting the right accountant for your business. Can you just briefly touch on some of those points that are in the book?
Well, oddly enough, and when I'm dealing with business owners, you're dealing with something that is a little bit foreign to them. You talk accounting, you talk tax, it's a little bit hard. To a business owner, generally they're good at marketing, or they're good at what they do, a plumber, a carpenter, a builder, but they're not good at their accounting stuff. So sometimes they don't know what they need to do. They don't know what they need to look for. So I suppose my biggest takeaway is that if you feel your accountant's not helping you, if you feel your accountant's not on your team, follow that gut feeling. Whenever we don't follow our gut feeling, we always find later that, we should have done that. That was the right way to go. Why didn't we just do what we had that gut feeling to do? And yes, you need to look for someone suitably qualified, CA or CPA. You need to have someone that's alert to financial structures and systems. You need to have someone that is IT savvy. I can tell you there are still a few accountants out there that are not IT savvy. How they survive in the world today, it's beyond me. So
no, you're right. You do need to grow, adapt and change to make sure that you are facilitating with the current world. That's obviously a big point. Now, as part of that, you obviously have to plan for the future as well. It's not just simply about, I've been working for the past 6 months. It's now come around to the cut-off date, the end of July. You've actually got to look for the future. So planning tax is crucial. How do you help your clients plan for growth and tax management moving forward?
Well, We need to get close to them for a start. We need to be on top of their figures, and they need to be on an online system that we can look at it, log in anytime on your phone, and know how you're tracking. So you don't want to leave these things at the last minute. And often people say the more money I make, the more tax I pay. That's not true. It is not true. Tax office probably want you to believe that. Some people probably want you to believe that. But honestly, if you're a step ahead, it is just a myth. So with clever planning, restructuring, and looking at, and look, sometimes there are situations where there's not a lot I can do. But can I tell you that many times there have been situations where I've changed, where on our website we talk about a situation where, or in my latest book, a client had $1 million tax bill, finished up paying $268,000. So, more money I make, the more tax I pay. Not true.
Mm. Now, a lot of what we're talking about here, Allan, is obviously companies and corporate entities. Do you do much work with private citizens, for example, who might come to you and say, look, I'm a high net worth individual. That's just my salary, though. Can you help me in the same way that you help a business? Do you have a lot of those clients too?
We do. We have quite a lot of high net worth clients, in fact, and some that want to be high net worth clients.
I'll fall into that category.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, we do. And remember, if you've got a lot of income, you need to be thinking ahead of the game again. And maybe you're looking at buying properties or investments or gearing or different structures. You need to be looking at asset protection. There's a lot of things that fall out. We work a lot with self-managed super funds, for instance. But sometimes people are a little bit scared about self-managed super. They think it's a tax. They think or the regulation affects them, but it's a tax haven. Where else can you pay tax at 15% on its income in accumulation mode, or zero? I'll repeat that: zero tax when it's in accumulation or in pension mode. So wouldn't that be something you'd be interested in? If you can get a tax deduction on the way in, the money you put in from one pocket, out of one pocket into your other pocket. So from out of your business into your super, or if you're an employee, you might want to top up to the concessional limits to get a tax deduction on the money that you put in. So look, there are lots of options. It's not a perfect world. We're dealing with a tax system that is overly complicated. I mean, when you talk about the amount of tax legislation that's out there, over 100,000 pages. If I was to put all of the regulations and all the sections of the Act on the floor, page by page, it would reach the ceiling. That's how much there is.
And I'm assuming that's a pretty tall ceiling too. This is not like a little den underneath the house. This is a big skyscraper, unfortunately. But I mean, you mentioned there about self-managed super funds, and obviously there is some important intricacies there. Whether it could be, as you mentioned, 0% potentially of tax. What in general, though, would you say is the significance of setting one up, and why is there somewhat of a hesitation in not doing so?
Firstly, it may not be right for you. So you need to look at that and make sure it is right for you. Secondly, sometimes there are situations where it's the only way to go. For instance, if you're looking to buy a property that you couldn't buy outside of super, you might look to transfer or roll over your industry money into that fund. You might be looking at other clever strategies. We had one client that we purchased their business through their super fund. Very special, a lot of rules and a lot of compliance, but it made a lot of sense, and in fact meant that the business made profit and paid no tax, and the amounts the owner took out, which was a pension payment, out of their super fund, was tax free. So there are strategies out there. You don't realise what can be done. You don't realise sometimes what high net worth people do, and they are demanding, and they want me to do stuff, and I love doing it because it's a challenge, and if I can pull a rabbit out of the hat, it makes my day.
Now, we all like magic tricks, especially when it comes to money, that's for sure. Now, obviously, COVID-19 has thrown a lot of different businesses into disarray. It's been, over 18 months now we've all been having to deal with this. A couple of questions on that front. What are the challenges you found in your business personally? And as part of the pandemic and the response from government, a lot of people were allowed to then dip into their super. Now, is that a smart move in general, or is it very much a case-by-case basis? Would you recommend someone hopping into their super, for example?
It is a case-by-case basis. I honestly wouldn't recommend it, because if you're young and you take 10,000 out now, in 30 years, that 10,000 could have been worth 100,000. So really, last resort. You should try to not do it. But if you can't pay your rent and you can't pay your costs, or you're about to be put on the street, certainly. And that's what it's intended. It's intended for those challenging situations. And look, it has been a difficult period. When I remember it vividly, when on the 12th of March, the Prime Minister made his announcement, it was almost like the world caved in. It was almost like, what do we do? And every business was in the same category. I worked feverishly over that weekend. I remember it was a Thursday night, 6 p.m. Prime Minister made his announcement. By Monday morning, I had produced a booklet on all of the JobKeeper and all of the stimulus packages and all of the things that were available, because we needed to be on the front foot with our clients. We needed them to survive. We needed to help them survive. And we put that out. I mean, the booklet changed about 10 times, I've got to tell you. And the tax office themselves took 2 weeks to get their head around what they needed to do. So you can imagine the confusion for clients. And you've got people in all different situations, trusts, companies, employing, not employing, a myriad of situations that were so different that required us to step back and think about the legislation and what was being put through, and then work out what we could do to help our clients. How would this impact? We had probably, and I get asked this question often, of our client base now, we would have maybe 20% or less that would be suffering because of COVID-19, 80% doing well. And when I say do well, they're doing extremely well. So it's only a small percentage. And because we're across so many different industries, that's probably why that's the case for us. If we were specialised in hospitality or a few areas like that, then maybe the impact would be different. But JobKeeper really helped our clients go forward. We even got grants. We're just doing all the grants at the moment for clients, $5,000, $10,000 grants, the lockdown grants that came out a while ago. These things are there to help. The system doesn't help the client, unfortunately. You think that the government's got the right intention, they want to do the right thing and help their client and help businesses and business owners. But sometimes there are so many barriers that they put up. You'd be surprised. And at our end, we that's why I don't have as much hair. It's because of trying to deal with getting through the minefield of the regulations, and some people qualify, they don't, and they had a business restructure last year, so they don't qualify for the 30% drop. And I can tell you 100 sob stories of situations where they should have got it, they're really entitled to it, but the legislation doesn't fit their situation.
Well, Allan, I think there's a very key reason you've pointed out there as to why I've got a bit more up here than yourself. I'm not having to deal with the stress of that situation, that is for sure, mate. But look, you also made mention as well about being able to pull a rabbit out of the hat. There's a bit of magic involved in what you're doing. Is there actually a magic formula that will ensure success every time for a business?
I'm asked this all the time, and we work with business owners, and we want them to succeed. Why do we want them to succeed? Because they've got to pay our bill. Oh no, sorry, I didn't say that. We want them to succeed. So there are 3 things that a business owner needs to do, and we work with them all the time. Sorry to be flippant. And very simple, 3 things: plan, monitor, and correct. PMC. So plan. What's your business? What's your reason for being in business? What are you trying to achieve? Sit down and do a business plan, and we can help you with that. 1 page, 2 page, whether it's sales to this or what I'm trying to achieve there. So plan. So then the second thing is monitor it. And you've got to monitor your progress. If I was to walk out the door tomorrow and I wanted to head to Melbourne, I'd know to turn left, not right. So you've got to monitor your systems, your progress towards your destination, what you're trying to achieve. today with Xero, QuickBooks Online, direct feed from your bank account into your business accounting system, you know it day by day. I can tell you with every one of our clients that we've pushed onto Xero or QuickBooks, I can look at it and I can tell them what their profit is today. So we need to know that and need to be monitoring that. And then the third thing is to correct. So you've got to correct any deviations. So as you're starting to get on the wrong road, so you find you're heading to Melbourne, but you've got a traffic block somewhere, so you need to go around that. If you've got all your information on Xero, you're monitoring where you're heading, you can make those changes. And if you've got to close your business because it's not going too well, you need to do that. If you've got to put more people on because your sales are increasing, you need to do that. You need to know what your break-even point. So when we work with clients, we'll say, well, what are you trying to make? What profit are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to do with your business? Why are you in business? Maybe you should go home. No, don't say that. And I've seen businesses where they're making a loss, and it's like, well, hang on, close your doors. You get more, go on an unemployment benefit or something. You earn more money because at the moment you're sucking out on your mortgage and you're going on a road to nowhere. So you've got to correct any deviations. We will sit down and calculate a break-even point with a client. So we'll say, okay, you want to make 300,000 profit. Let's reverse engineer that back up to work out what the income has to be, overhead, break-even point, all those things, and it works out maybe 10,000 a week, for example. They've got to have turnover of 10,000 a week. So then you're looking at it, it's Thursday of the week or Friday. Did you make target? Did you make 10,000 a week? You didn't? Well, you're not going to make your budget. You're not going to make your profit. So then you've got to correct it. So correct any deviations. Keep yourself on track. Keep yourself aligned with where you want to be, where your business wants to be, and really be proactive. And if you haven't made your budget, I can't tell you how many times I've seen clients go, well, I'll ring up that extra client, or I'll make that extra call, or I'll push this extra salesman out there and see if we can get that budget for that week. And then next week, the next week, the next week. That's how you succeed every time.
No, you're not wrong. It certainly is an ongoing process. It's one you've got to keep your fingers on top of the pulse the entire time. And that, of course, includes getting your accountant in on the conversation. Get across it, that is for sure. Allan, we've run out of time, but just before I let you go, 3 things I want to touch on. You've mentioned a book. What is the book? Where can we get it? Same for the booklet surrounding all those rules to do with grants and COVID. And also, how can we find your website?
Well, our website's easy, encoreaccounting.com.au. And our books are on our publishing website, which is broadviewofpublishing.com.au. Our latest book, Tax Secrets of the Rich, I've actually, it's a case study, if you like, of all those things that we've done to save people heaps of money. That comes out in a couple of weeks. We've got links on our Broadview Publishing website, and initially that'll come out. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, we'll be sending out our books free for 2 days, for the first 2 days on Amazon. So certainly subscribe to it. Yeah. So Tax Secrets of the Rich by Kerry Packer's former accountant. That's how I used to work for Kerry. So it's a little bit, a few secrets there that, and for instance, Kerry would not have minded some of the things we did in those days to disclose it, because he had a bit of an opinion on tax, as you might know.
Yes, we certainly do know. Well, look, Allan, really looking forward to having a read of that Tax Secrets of the Rich. We'll actually have to catch up in a few weeks, I'd imagine, to have a chat once it's released. But been great to have a chat with you today, and all the best of luck with Encore Accounting.
Thank you, James.
Well, that is Allan Mason, the Managing Director for Encore Accounting. Very fun chat as well. If you missed any part of it, all you have to do is head across to the YouTube channel, 𝐊𝐶𝐞 Media. You can also find every single one of our expert talks to date. The entire catalogue is there, ready for you to peruse. That's all for this one, though. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm James Preston, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐊𝐶𝐞.